Hey guys, it's the Prez, Lawrence Presman, co-founder of WagerTalk Media. The Betting Edge with the Prez, a daily show you can find at our YouTube channel, WagerTalk TV. We talk NFL, college football, baseball, basketball, and the occasional hockey game. Speaking of hockey, puck time is up. Make sure to check it out. Great show today. Alex B. Smith and Carmine Bianco. We take apart every game on the board. Today's Betting Edge show featured Rob Veno and Drew Martin, both from sportsmemo.com. I'll bring them in and we'll get to it. Hey, Drew, you look great, dude. I love the backdrop. I don't like the hat, though.
Okay. Well, thank you. Good morning to you, Prez. And I'll keep the backdrop and I'll think about changing the hat next Tuesday.
Well, do you want to know why I don't like the hat?
Either one of two reasons. One, you don't like Auburn, or two, it's not centered.
No, neither of those reasons. I don't like the flat top hats, the soft tops. So you have an incredible collection of hats, and most of them have a more of a flat front where it's like firmer and holds better. That's one of those soft top hats that become round. I don't think it works with your extremely good-looking face and square jawline. I think you look better with the other style of hat.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. And this is a little bit more of the southern, like, country style hat. So
given that I'm a Jew from Toronto, that might be the reason I don't like the hat.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rob Veno, you're stepping in for Ralph Michaels literally at the last minute.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for doing that, dude. And yet, your hair is still so perfect.
Well, you know what? I had an idea you might be calling, Prez, so I quickly ran and took care of myself earlier this morning. But always ready to go, Prez, no problem.
Well, you look good, dude, and you don't even know the games we're talking about, so I really appreciate you stepping in at the last second. Let's get to it, boys. Promotion day at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. It's $2 Tuesdays at both sites. Drew, what's going on over at sportsmemo.com?
We got our hottest handicapper right now, Robbie Veno, $2 handicapper, and I believe he just sent it in. So actually, I don't know a lot about the play, the sport, but our man is right here with us. He's the $2 handicapper. So check him out at sportsmemo.com. His top play, only $2 today until midnight Pacific time.
Well, the great news is it's like noon 20 in Eastern time, and we don't even have our $2 Tuesday up at WagerTalk.com, so guys, make sure to check back. We've got so many hot handicappers, it's ridiculous. And a huge shout out to Marco D'Angelo. Drew, Marco never plays hockey. Out of the blue, he has a 5% hockey play last night. He obviously got some great information from some sources he trusts. And he broke the record for hockey sales in one day, and the play won by like 5 goals.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Good for Marco.
Yeah, that's how you want to roll, boys. That's how you want to roll. Rob, I'm going to go to you first. College football, baby. Oklahoma State plus 10.5 versus Iowa State. This Oklahoma State, man, this team every year is so interesting. I mean, on any given Saturday, they could play with or beat almost any team in the league. I think this is a lot of points for a team that can score. My lean right off the bat is Oklahoma State plus the 10.5. Where are you going, my friend?
Yeah, I don't know that I would disagree, Prez, because Oklahoma State's one of those, what we used to refer to as flaky teams. Inconsistent, jump up when you least expect it. Last week against Baylor, it felt like the whole world was on OSU, and down in flames they went to the Baylor Bears. So wouldn't surprise me to see a bounce back out of them. They're so good offensively. However, the Iowa State side now, I believe, is on 5 straight covers. And, that offense of theirs is extremely underrated. Into their game last week against Texas Tech, in the entire season, they had 1 handful of 3-and-outs all season long on that offense. So They're very tough as well. They're certainly the better defensive team. Home field at Ames. It's a tough place to play, Jack Trice. All that being said, though, without diving deep into this game yet, I would consider the Oklahoma State side and potentially an overplay.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's tackling Prez last week was abysmal, and you're not going to get away with that against Iowa State's offense. So we'll see. But, right off the cuff, I would say that I'd probably lean over more than anything else in that game.
Baby blue-eyed Drew Martin, what's going on with your thoughts?
Yeah, no, Prez, I do agree with where Robbie was saying in the over. And of course, just a reminder, as we're getting here into late October, college football, always check the weather here, especially, in the Midwest there at Iowa State and Ames. But Oklahoma State, I thought Rob was right on in terms of it's just a difficult team to handicap. I mean, they're explosive. I agree with you, Rob. I think they could give Oklahoma a run for their money if they're kind of spinning on all their wheels here offensively. Spencer Sanders, the type of quarterback he is, they're going to kind of live and die with him. And of recent, he hasn't been playing that good, mainly because of turnovers. Their turnovers haven't been very good, negative, and it showed in their last game. And in the Big 12, where there's so many competitive teams, that's really going to work against you. Iowa State, man, they've been on a run. You're right, Robbie. Depending where you bought that Baylor game at, they've won 6 straight ATS. I guess on that closing line, they might have lost that Baylor game. But overall, it's just a tough train to step in front of. And I would use the word volatility with Oklahoma State, and they're exactly that. So if you feel like going to a craps table and the Cowboys are the side, I'm not going to talk you off of them. But at the same time, I don't know. They could be turning the ball over with their young quarterback, Sanders. So it's likely a game I won't get involved in.
Wisconsin plus 14 versus Ohio State. Again, a big number for a team that's played really well in Wisconsin, but Ohio State looks all world right now. This game is a pass for me. Rob Veno, regale us with your thoughts.
I would go directly toward Wisconsin, plus the 2 touchdowns, Prez. Last week has to be considered more of a mirage than reality where the Badgers are concerned. Perhaps it was a look-ahead game for them against Illinois, but 14 points. I think last week, I don't know if it's Circa or which Las Vegas hotel it is that puts out the lines 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah,
and I believe they had Ohio State listed as 10-point favorites last week. Now suddenly 14 off of the strong performance by Ohio State and the loss by Wisconsin. The defense, if we just look at the trenches, Prez, and if games are won offensive line and defensive line wise, which I believe they are, these teams match up pretty good. Ohio State has not really encountered a team with the defensive capability, with the physicality that Wisconsin's going to bring. That Jim Leonard-led defense has been savage all season long, and I think it probably returns to form here. Now, that being said, they're going to face the stiffest test of the year. There's speed all over the place for Ohio State. They make things look rather easy. But all things considered in this game, I just think Wisconsin comes out with an extra fire off of last week's loss. This is their only hope, really. Not that they have one to get into the college football playoff. Right now, they're really on the severe outside looking in.
Yes, of course.
But, if ever they're going to climb back in, a victory over Ohio State does it. So 14 to me, just way too many points. Power ratings indicate that they should probably be in this price range. So the price is not unfair, but I just think Wisconsin situationally and the way they match up is probably a pretty good play.
Drew Martin, what are your thoughts, my brother?
This is a tricky handicap. Just Wisconsin blowing everybody out and then losing to a team, nobody thought they would as 30-point favorites. And how to rate that into the next week going against, likely the top competition in the Big Ten. I don't know. I think this number is very telling in terms of, Ohio State minus 2 touchdowns. I think that they're letting us know Ohio State is the side here. I just think more talent at the offensive skill positions, and Wisconsin, yes, their defense, like Robbie said, has been lights out, but they also haven't faced competition like Ohio State at home, plus the fact Ohio State has an extra day to prepare. They played Northwestern on Friday, not on Saturday. All of that kind of points me here towards Ohio State, but the number, the ultimate equalizer, likely keeps me off of this one sidewise, Prez.
Boys, baseball starts tonight. Well, the World Series at least. Let's talk about the future bet really quick. If you watched a show a couple of weeks ago, I was on Houston and Washington, and man, Washington, Rob Veno at plus 200 feels like a good value bet. Obviously, Houston is the better team. But I mean, Washington feels like a team of destiny. They're really manufacturing runs, which is so important, especially against a pitching rotation that Houston is going to roll out. But let's not sleep on Washington's rotation. I mean, Anibal, Strasburg, Max, the last guy I can't remember.
Corbin.
Yeah, Corbin. I went blank. This, to me, at 2-1 on your money, I feel like Washington's the bet here, Rob.
Hey, it's as good a flyer as you'll find in a World Series, really, Prez. I was trying to think about this last night, and the last one I can remember that really sized up like this, and I have to go way back.
Yeah.
But I'll go way back to 1990 when the Cincinnati Reds, led by Jose Rio, faced the Bash brothers in Oakland. Cincinnati at that point in time had the Nasty Boys out of the bullpen, Rob Dibble, Norm Charlton and company. And they had, and Randy Myers, I think, was the third, and they had a staff that could kind of neutralize the Oakland Bats. And sure enough, Cincinnati won that World Series. It kind of feels like that to me in the sense that both staffs neutralize each other, which automatically would draw you to a dog. As long as they can match up pitching-wise, you're okay. Bullpen, I would, have to lean toward Houston. They're the better bullpen in my estimation. I don't think Washington goes that deep in the bullpen, although they've pitched better as of late. And then comes the clutch factor, and I just can't get out of my head the way that if it's not George Springer, it's Jose Altuve. If it's not Jose Altuve, it's Carlos Correa. If it's not Correa, it's Yuri Gurriel. It's somebody in that lineup. They're so clutch in these big games, and really beyond Soto and Anthony Rendon, we don't know about the clutch factor with that Washington.
I think Kendrick's shown himself to be ridiculously clutch. I mean, like my hair, the guy is really good.
And he's just a professional hitter for a lot of years, so you can't single him out at all. You have to include him. $2, like I say, probably a good flyer. I'd probably prefer to go game by game here, but it's an interesting bet, Prez, an interesting series because who knows? These guys are all going to line up against one another, all these ones, all these top flight arms. The only guy I couldn't bet against at this point in time, and I'm not alone in this thought, this is not, earth-shattering news. You can't go against Garrett Cole. I mean, you have to play Garrett Cole and not play it all.
Well, speaking of which, Drew, Rob and I spoke about the future. You take apart this game tonight. Cole at minus 200, 6.5 on the board. And, Drew, I'll give you a real quick take for me. I think Washington's the play here, and I know that's absurd because Garrett Cole is putting up Walter Johnson-type numbers. I don't think he's lost in 26 games, striking out over 10 every game, ERA in the mid-ones. But the bottom line is he's not going to complete this game. He's going to get 7 innings in, and then there's going to likely be 2 to 3 innings where he isn't playing. He's playing against Scherzer, and Scherzer can go out and shut this Houston team down. I don't want to say as easily as Garrett Cole, but it's not a massive difference here. I think this game could get to the bullpen, and I think because of that, you're getting 2-1 with Washington. I'd rather take Washington here and hope this game gets to a bullpen and then sit there and say, hey, neither bullpen is lights out, and I got a 2-1 bet in my pocket.
Yeah, and add on the fact that Washington has had late inning heroics in this playoffs before. So I don't disagree with you at all, Prez. And actually, I would use what you said and what Robbie said into a bet, but maybe not tonight, because looking into Garrett Cole, stepping in front of, the best lineup in all of baseball, most likely, right now the best pitcher in baseball, in my opinion, I would likely wait tonight, look for Houston to win to win tonight, and then come back, kind of snake it here and bet on the Washington Nationals at a big plus price to win the series.
About
coming
310
back to
or
back
something like that.
Yeah, and that's the way I'm going to look to get on this, just because. And if you made me bet tonight, I would take the plus price for a lot of the reasons Robbie said, and yourself, Prez, in terms of it's just going down with Scherzer, big game pitcher, Cole, big game pitcher against these two opposing lineups. I could see him dominating, and at that price point, I'm going to take a shot at a pretty hefty dog here.
Yeah, and I can't play under 6.5 even with these two guys on the mound, so there's definitely a pass on that total. Real quick, everybody, it's $2 Tuesdays at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. Rob Veno is the $2 feature handicapper at Sports Memo, and he is in must-play mode. Been on fire for 2 straight months. So congratulations to you, Rob. Kudos, and I hope you keep it rolling. Tampa Bay in NFL, plus 2.5 going into Tennessee. I'm struggling to read this Tampa Bay team, and I think everybody is, really, to be honest with you. Jameis Winston goes out and plays, even a semi-good game, and they're a better team than Tennessee. With that said, we can't count on Jameis Winston to do anything halfway good. He's got as many chances, as much chances throwing 3 interceptions as he does 3 touchdowns. Rob, I'll go to you first, but I am not getting anywhere near this football game.
Yeah, it's probably not a good place to start your NFL handicapping, Prez, but let's at least list a couple of positives for the Bucs in this game. First off, Winston's off such a poor performance last game, and with a bye week, I wouldn't expect him to turn it over the way he did last game. The good news for Jameis Winston is that Bruce Arians and he go back such a long way, and Bruce Arians has such faith in this kid because he's known him for so long that you would think you'd get a little bit of improvement as the season progresses. I just don't know that he's going to have 2 horrible games in a row. From a fundamental standpoint, what Tennessee does best is run the football. What Tampa Bay does best is stop the run. Their run defense is one of the 5 best inside the NFL right now. So you take the run away from Tennessee and ask Ryan Tannehill to go out there with his right arm and beat Tampa Bay. I just don't know that I would want him over Jameis Winston in that instance. Certainly Tampa Bay has the explosive vertical passing game downfield. They run it fairly decent, not great, but I do think the bye week helps. I think Winston bounces back, and I think their run defense against that Tennessee run-based offense is probably the way to look, at least for a starter. And how lucky was Tennessee, honestly, to get away with that win last week against the LA Chargers? LA has 3 plays. Not that they weren't warranted, but all 3 touchdowns did get overturned, and they wind up losing that game, and Tennessee gets a cover. I don't know that, that depleted LA Chargers squad is going to show up here this week in the form of Tampa Bay.
Drew Martin, what do you like in this one?
I mean, I'm looking for reasons to bet on Tennessee.
Yeah,
we
I
found
agree.
change. Yeah, we found change at the quarterback position, which is, a lot of times sports bettors, that's, in my opinion, one of the best ways to win. And we found it here. It's just the problem is they played the LA Chargers, like Robbie was saying. How much can you put into that win? It was kind of lucky there at the end. And when you look at their other wins, at Atlanta, it just gets tough to find reasons to bet on them. So going against Tampa Bay here off of a bye, I'm probably on that side. But when you were introducing this one, Jameis Winston, I just can't stop thinking about, all of the mistakes, quote unquote, he makes in his life and on the field and off the field. I just have never had a lot of luck betting on that guy, even going back to his college days.
Carolina, boys. This is a great game for me and one that I will be betting. I'll tell you that right now. Carolina plus 5.5 going into San Fran. Carolina coming off of a bye. Prez having an eye situation and is rhyming. Wow. Bottom line, Rob, you take this. I like Carolina.
Well, that would be, for me, a tough sell only because Christian McCaffrey is going to have the ultimate bullseye on his chest from a defense that has performed as the best in the NFL right now. I didn't exactly buy in to San Fran early, but as these weeks go on and as they continue to show the way that they do defensively, I think I have to buy in at this point. The front 7 is incredibly good. Not only quick but strong. They win the point of attack almost every game, even in the slop. That was the complete negator right there for the Washington Redskins, to have a playing field where the footing was so bad, and yet San Francisco is still able to shut out the Washington Redskins. Not even one lucky play on a rain-soaked field. Christian McCaffrey's great, but I don't want to put the ball in Kyle Allen's hands if Christian McCaffrey can't run, and San Francisco knows he has to pass. The great part about Kyle Allen so far, guys, is the fact that offense is so balanced. McCaffrey does what he does, and it opens it up for Kyle Allen to be successful. If McCaffrey can't do what he does, boy, I don't know what the answer to that is. So I'll look deeper into it. But for me, the starting point would have to be San Francisco at this price. They've just made a mess of better offenses so far this year. And I don't know that Carolina's offense is going to be able to withstand what San Francisco brings defensively.
Name a better offense they've made a mess to.
Definitely the Rams.
The Rams offense was like mediocre for 3 weeks or something.
But the personnel.
Do you notice what
better.
Carolina's offense is doing?
I noticed what Christian McCaffrey's doing, and that's kind of the point here, Prez, is I don't believe.
So every game that Christian McCaffrey goes out, he has a bullseye on his chest, and yet every game he goes back to the locker room a hero.
And every defense he played isn't San Francisco, is all I'm saying. I've bought into this defense as one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah, listen, I think San Fran is a good defense, don't get me wrong, but let's see what happens at the end of this year. I think Carolina's defense is better than San Fran's. Drew?
Well, to that sentiment, it makes me look towards the under. I mean, I think that Carolina, the problem is Carolina's put up 34 or more points 3 of their last 4 games, Prez. So when you look at their offense,
you can't play the under here. It's 41, brother. I mean, San Fran, this total is so directly linked to the side in this game. I mean, if San Fran comes out there and wins this game, it goes under. Carolina wins this game, it goes over.
Speaks to a correlated parlay. I just don't like stepping in front of unders with one team that's scored, that's been able to put the ball in the end zone a bunch of recent, and the fact that they're off of a bye, likely going to see plays that, aren't on tape from earlier this year. I'm looking for reasons to be on Carolina, but like Robbie just said, I mean, San Francisco's defense, I'm in his camp, Prez, in terms of, man, the way they were able to shut down the Rams passing attack and Jared Goff and put pressure on him, it makes me think that, Carolina kind of has that same profile in terms of trying to throw the ball downfield when they can't get it to Christian McCaffrey. So I just think they're going to be able to take that portion of their offense away. And if Christian McCaffrey can put the team on his shoulders and win this game, so be it. But it makes me look towards the home favorite here at a modest price.
Yeah, I think Carolina and the Rams have a much different throwing offense. I think Carolina with Greg Olsen has a man who plays in the middle, 15 yards down the field. That actually brings the strong safety up a little. It keeps the free safety inside. It opens up man-to-man coverage on the outside and allows for bombs. Whereas the Rams are missing that slot tight end receiver, and they also don't have the type of speed. Robert Woods, if Robert Woods is your long bomb threat, you have issues. LA Rams are playing, 5-yard dink and dunks to cop all game long. So me and you are going to disagree on the style of offense that Carolina and the Rams have. With love. Boys,
I didn't want to make it sound like the Rams are playing good offense right now. I just meant
their offense,
in terms of the best player being at the running back position.
I understand that, but again, Gurley's inside the tackle runner. Christian McCaffrey's an outside the tackle runner. These offenses have no relevance to each other at all. Guys, happy NBA New Year! Starts tonight. The defending NBA champ Toronto Raptors are -7 against New Orleans with a total of 230, give or take. And a monster monster match in LA with the Clips and the Lakers tonight, and I think this is the start of a couple of year rivalry between those two teams, with the Lakers at -3.5 on the road. Really, like, not really on the road. We did not discuss that we were going to talk NBA today. So at 100 miles an hour, Rob, do you have anything you want to say about the NBA slate tonight?
You know, I really didn't like either game, Press, so I won't get into either one. I mean, I hate the fact that these totals starting last year have just climbed to the point of, unplayability.
Yeah.
You can't play these things under. You can't play them over. Sidewise, I'm not real sure what Toronto's going to look like to start the season without Kawhi, so I got off of that quick. And, of course, that battle for L.A., I'd rather watch and learn than get involved right out of the chute.
Drew Martin?
Atlanta Hawks over 34.5 wins. Young team. I think they're underrated in the Eastern Conference.
Bet.
And I got to give a shout out to Ski Profit, your boy Ski Profit, and my boy. He is the one that pointed me towards that great NBA handicapper, as is Rob Veno and Teddy Covers.
Yeah, and guys, make sure to play our NBA guys, and especially as Drew mentioned, Hakeem Profit. I mean, this is his sport, and he's going to dominate. Boys, thanks so much for a wonderful show. Rob, I cannot thank you enough. Listeners, Rob literally had 30 seconds notice to come on the show and to cover for Ralph, who was running late with another show. So thank you so much, Rob. Drew, I love having you on. You're awesome. The backdrop's so sick. Listeners, thank you for your comments. I'm not going to be able to read a lot of comments today. My apologies. It's my delicious woman's birthday, so I've got a big day and night planned. I'm the Prez. Namaste. We'll see you tomorrow.